Welcome to the Deep Seated Podcast, everybody.
What's up? That was amazing.
That's the best. That's the best 10 seconds of my year.
That's so good. Oh my god.
So how you doing, my buddy?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. I'm a little tired. I'm posted right now.
Word.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good myself, man, as well as tired, but I'm waking up. I got some caffeine in my face. I just took my handful of every wake up supplement that I have, so I'm good.
Nice.
Took my P12s, my D3s, a little bit of sulforaphane. Yeah,
Sulforaphane. Throwing all these big words at me.
It's
I don't know.
Rhonda Patrick turned me onto that one from Joe Rogan podcast. Every time she comes on there, I end up having to
buy a new supplement.
Yeah, buy a new supplement. Well, first of all, I have to
get
take
a new
notes.
book to read.
Yeah, I take notes and then have to listen back to the podcast via my notes because I'm like, what the fuck is sulforaphane?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I go look into it, and there was this whole section that she ended up talking about broccoli sprouts and the crazy health benefits.
Okay.
The brain doctor. That episode when she's just came on and she's just like, broccoli sprouts are the way of the future. Or at least it was what her jam
everything
is.
else you know.
So it was just all right, I'm down. I'll try this stuff out. So
do you notice a difference with that?
It's one of the ones
you've had that for a minute.
Yeah, it's one of those ones though where it's kind of I've been on the focus tip of trying to get my body and stuff in order again, as far as because I understand the relationship that my brain mind body kind of thing,
right
all has, right, where it's I need my body to run good for my brain to run well. So I've been working hard on that. So it's one of those things when you start taking all this new stuff plus doing all the other stuff that you need to maintain, you're like, which one is it? Which one's helping? It's probably all of it. It's definitely all of it, but it's it gets hard to pinpoint exactly what thing is,
very, very true.
Yeah, pushing you forward,
Especially when you introduce new stuff into your already existing routine, right?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So you're like, is it my previous routine that's just finally balanced out and is going good, or is it this new thing I just introduced, right?
Yeah,
it's hard to tell.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Because even when you get into doing supplements and buying extra vitamins and all that,
well, I always remember
it's you run out of your first month supply basically, and then it's when you get your second months to re-up, that's when maybe your body will start to notice a difference, right? It has to get used to certain things, right?
Oh, that's not the one I'm looking for. But yeah, I always remember that one when I started losing a bunch of weight and shit. People be like, yo, what's the secret? What are you doing? And I'd just be
to lose weight.
Yeah. And it was just everybody wants a one thing, you know what I mean? So you're
just pray, man.
Yeah.
I became Christian.
That's what did it. Yeah. I just prayed the weight away.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, it's just a culmination of things with anything, right? You build towards something. Yeah, I'm about to show you this shit.
It's the new. Yeah, you'll throw this up. You'll see.
I'll throw this up.
The new soap shoes.
So we're talking about pushing forward, and pushing forward things. Literally pushing forward. There's this tweet that I saw this morning as I was waking up, and it's retweeted by Franz from Attila, and it says, I bet they'll have flying cars in the future. And then it goes 2017, and then it shows this.
What the fuck was that? Shut up. Yeah. That is hilarious right there. That's funny. But that flip shit? What?
Yeah, so for anybody that's not watching this guy's doing literally skateboarding flip tricks with a freaking gold-plated wheelbarrow. He's doing rail grinds and
he's
switch hand grab, X grab,
board slide, half cab board,
dark slide.
What? He's twisting it around his back, flipping it and shit.
This shit's too good.
Yo, that double set. That's
is that
Berlin.
An iconic set?
Is that Berlin?
It might be though.
I think yeah. That's a famous skate double set.
That makes it all the better, dude.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's Berlin.
Watch everybody. All the people clapping in the background. That was my favorite part.
Like, yeah, you get the slow clap on that one.
Yeah, some just like regular like house moms and like grandmas and shit out there clapping them on and shit. Yeah, so I love seeing random clips like
Is
that
that a
in the
joke
morning.
or is that like legit?
No, that's definitely a joke.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was like, do you remember Soap Shoes?
Of course, dude.
Oh my god,
Dude.
that shit.
Oh, okay. There's a whole meme of that shit that goes even farther today. There's
For
a
soap
guy,
shoes?
yeah. There's a guy that was a professional soap shoer, and
Have you seen one in real life? I've never seen
dude,
one.
I was like,
Or
I
did you
wanted
have
them
it?
so bad.
Oh.
You're gonna hate me fucking saying this. When I was down in Australia, they like had a whole bunch of stuff, and I remember we went to a fucking skateboarding store, and I wanted them so bad, but like they were expensive, man. Like, you know, $50 on top of an extra pair of skate shoes or some shit. But
So like, it's like the center is cut out, and
Yeah.
then is it literally like wax?
no, it's
like
like
a wax block, or
almost like a PVC or like something that's like a super hard, slippery plastic that can slide on almost any
composite
material.
toe
Yeah,
type.
yeah. So
and then that must have a layer of wax or something like on that.
I don't know. It probably had some kind of like infused fucking, you know what I mean, like a Teflon or something like that.
Teflon.
So
a little coconut oil.
yeah. So basically, there's this guy that was a professional soap shoer.
Oh my god!
And
What?
and Ryan Jezza, and so H3H3, which is one of my favorite character duo online, Ethan and Ela. They're the people that do like the Vape Nation and all that. You know them, right? They ended up doing a video with this guy because he used to be a professional soap shoer, and then is like still to the day riding off his curtails of being a professional soap shoer in the mid 90s. And then but he's still living like the badass lifestyle with like the pierced fucking eyebrow and like the greasy the 90s look, like the baggy,
The like got to be hair gel.
yes yeah, when he looks like he's from
B44.
yes yeah. Oh, and actually, by the way, H3H3 does a B44 episode.
Yeah, you showed me that.
It's the best thing in the world.
Fucking, he gets that fucked up tan, and oh my god,
Fucking love H3.
so gross.
So anyways, they had this guy on, and they did a whole thing where it was like Ryan Jezza how to pick up cougars at like the grocery store or some shit like that.
At the grocery store.
And then so anyways, he just recently put out a full movie called Soap or Die like a month ago. Fucking month ago, bro. Like, look at the intro on this shit. Okay, I'm not gonna give.
Are there like multiple people or
no,
him?
it's just him. It's just him. Like,
what is it? 37 minutes?
21
Oh.
21 minute long Soap or Die.
Don't have my glasses on. Oh, god.
Let's just skip forward in this a bit, obviously. But
Soap or Die.
yeah. So funny that you just like mentioned that. I'm like, dude, this shit, ridiculous shit just came out. While this is starting, I just gotta quickly go grab a pair of pliers, like tighten this thing up.
Yeah. Oh my god. Is soap shoeing still a thing? No, right?
It never really was.
It was super like underground.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude.
Like
Dude,
super hush hush.
Where is it? Please tell me I have it right here.
I don't even remember how I found out about soap shoes.
It made its way in.
Like in a magazine, maybe?
Shit,
Yeah.
It did. Well, this skate store in Australia, when we went to it, they hooked me up with like, it's got to have been like
Oh my god.
an entire package of like stickers from them. So I still have soap stickers on random things that I own.
Dude, the editing on this, he's like, soap or die. It's like shit flashing on the screen. You got like nugs of weed spinning, then like beer bottles spinning, cigarettes spinning in the titles.
Well, bros. And then they just got like the footage of himself smoking weed from like early 90s.
Dude, yeah. Like
Cut
fucking
to a
98.
soap shoe on fire. Epic, bro.
This is his intro. Oh,
So that's what it looks like. They basically had these little, here, I'll
yeah, throw that up.
to show you the phenomenon of these shoes. So these
Phenomenal,
shoes,
yeah, for the people that
had these little
Were
plates in the
busy
center,
living their lives and didn't find out.
and where you could basically slide down handrails and do like extreme sports without actually having a board or a bike or anything of that nature.
Yeah, it's like rollerblading.
Parkour. It's like roller. Yeah, it was like
with the wheels.
Inline,
yeah, because they would just
I
jump
did
on
for
shit.
a good minute.
You know, you did that too.
Oh yeah, I did everything, bro. I tried it all out. I have some hilarious footage of myself
booting.
fucking fruit pudding.
Oh my god! Look
this
at
boy.
this.
Look at this boy.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. I was like, but how are you gonna get out of that though?
Roll. The tuck and roll. That's so funny, dude.
Because you're just like, you run up to obstacles and you slide, and then you just.
So here he is, midday, modern day. Look at this guy.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Spiderweb on the elbow tattoo.
Yo, you got the Wilson going on here.
Yeah, totally. Eh? All right, I'll stop being lazy.
I could make this a little smaller too, but it's all good.
But
yeah. So, anyways, this just like I'm not trying to promote this by any means, but I just thought it was so funny that you brought up soap shooting, because I'm like, man, this guy literally just brought out this movie, and they have like he's been kind of like trying to ride his meme tails. Like after he was on H3H3, he got brought back into like the limelight a bit, and he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna make a documentary about myself.
It's a little egotistical, right?
Right?
Me.
Yo, did you see me in the 90s? I was fucking sliding down rails with my shoes.
Oh, bruh.
Without anything? But
Crazy.
shoes?
What was I gonna say? Oh, you brought up the Wilson thing.
Yeah.
What? I remember there was an episode where they showed him. Wasn't like the finale, was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly when it was, but I do remember the fact that they kind of showed his face. I remember
being I remember being like super caught off guard one day, and I was like, "Whoa, they're showing it!"
Yeah, you're like,
and
what
it
is
wasn't
this?
like announced, you know?
What is this madness?
For Home Improvement, for the people that
yes
aren't following what we're saying.
God damn it! My cats are always into some shit. But yeah, Home Improvement, Tim Allen. Definitely a 90s show.
Super
homebrewed values with the with a ex coke dealing comedian as the lead character.
And what was the mom's name?
Oh, in the show, Jill.
Jill, right.
Yeah. Right. Can't forget about old Jill.
Old Jill, she held it down, man.
Yeah, she held it down. Know what she held it down with, man? Every single mom hairstyle of the 90s.
Oh god.
Like she was like always on the fucking.
You know who else was good for that? It was fucking Roseanne. Remember that show?
Dude.
Oh, dude.
And like the oversized pullover like knitted sweatshirts with like the collared shirt popping out of the top. You're just like, what is that?
And like that hairstyle where it was combed back like high,
yeah,
and then the front
yeah,
bangs were down, and they're like,
right,
you know what I mean?
So
It's all
90s,
sectioned
man.
out, like all super funny.
She's fucking 90s momming it up.
Oh god,
Holy
she
shit.
was Tom Arnold.
Yeah,
right. They were married. Yeah.
Off and on again. And
then didn't Roseanne? They divorced, and then she came out as being gay, right?
Let's find out on that one, because that's
I
think that sounds like it could be familiar.
Dude, imagine that, eh? Imagine being married to someone for so long, like whether you're male or female.
One of the most powerful female comedians of the early times. It kind of pioneered it for people, though, man.
Roseanne.
Oh yeah.
Well,
like that show was actually funny as fuck too. That's the crazy thing.
Dude, John Goodman, like
Roseanne Barr,
right? That's her last name.
Married lesbian with age. So lesbian with age. That's obviously, I believe that's referring to what you're talking about. Looks back on her sitcoms controversial.
Like meaning later on in life.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that show went across some topics, man. Like that was the kind of cool thing about the sitcoms in the 90s. They would always kind of like end up like touching back on some heavy shit,
they would have to address
DJs ran away. You know, you're just like, oh shit.
That was a fucking dysfunctional family, though, eh?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those ones where it was like, it was kind of had these heavy tones all the time because of it was a dysfunctional family. But then there was always the kind of like, you know, rather than like
they'll laugh it off.
Yeah,
they would always laugh
yeah.
it off, and they just end up back at the dinner table.
Go across some fucking some life shit, you know. Frig, man. What's I gonna fucking bring up?
Roseanne, Tom Arnold.
Oh, it's okay. Just keep fucking moving. I'll figure it out. It's all good. But oh,
It's the worst when you forget.
yeah. What the fuck was that?
You're like, fuck, I'm not gonna sleep tonight until I figure out what it is.
Oh, we good, fam. We good. So fucking
Man, fucking yawn attack. So tired.
Yeah. Wake up, boy.
Wake up, boy. I haven't had my coffee. I didn't start drinking coffee till I told you like a year and a half ago maybe, but now I'm like totally got sucked in. Before I didn't drink coffee, so I didn't understand the whole like I saw from the outside, right? When people are like, oh man, I can't do anything until I have my morning coffee.
Yeah.
You know how people are like just super miserable. Like I'm not like that, but I definitely get like the oh man, a coffee would be really nice. Just
well,
like
you start to know the advantages of it.
I guess it's so routine.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like it's not even about the caffeine at this point, but it's just so routine that like I don't feel like I started my day properly.
Right.
I usually have one in the morning, you know. But I was gonna say earlier when you're like, oh, I got all my caffeine and my morning stuff going. I was gonna say, yesterday I went to you familiar with Kiehl's? Kiehl's is it's like one of those stores in the mall that has like skin products basically.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So I went to Kiehl's and got just some shit because that's like something I never really got into is like skincare.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just no one teaches you like what are the do's and don'ts really like take care of your skin, right?
For like
barely like for
most
eating,
shit. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that we're like both, you know, when we've both been pretty conscious of like what we put into our bodies,
Both getting old.
and you know, working out and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, maybe I should. What's the next thing I should work on, right? And I was like, oh, skin stuff. Maybe I'll go. So I went in. And it's pretty dope. Like, it's kind of funny. It's like you walk by and it's like the people there, they like have to wear these like lab coats is like the gimmick.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So walking by,
Science.
walking by, you're kind of like, it's kind of gimmicky, right? But whatever. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go in. It's pretty dope. Like the chick that was helping me was super like helpful and just like knowledgeable about the shit, which fucking totally helps. Like knowing like both of us working at a very specific type of retail before, and like when you have people that know what the fuck they're talking about.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? It's like
freaking world of difference.
Yeah. So basically it was funny. Like I went in and she's like, oh, like, can I help you with anything, you know? And I'm like, never been here before. I'm like starting from ground zero, right? I was like, what do I need?
Show me the ropes. Where do I start?
And it's one of those places where they test shit on you even, and they like do like consultations where they'll let you know like what your skin type is and like oh, this will help you like in this area and this will work with that, right? So yeah, I was talking with this lady, super helpful. And got like this face wash, this like exfoliator, this like special moisturizer and shit. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like seriously, like not knowing anything about that shit, right? So it's interesting to learn more.
It's a whole nother world on its own. That's like the body is such a biome.
Oh, and it's like it's so specific to you.
Yeah.
Like
that's the fucked up thing, which is like why I kind of was talking to my mom about this yesterday when I saw her. That it was like, it's kind of the fucked up thing with going to your general doctor, that they're not actually there to kind of like help you. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, at a certain point now, it turns into a business, which it's been for them for a long time. Yeah. And and it's not to discredit the amount of like work that they put in to become a doctor and the crazy amount of learning that they had to do to become said doctor, because that's insane. Like, but the fact of like trying
it's
to
never
keep,
ending.
no, it's never ending. But
Yeah.
see, that's where it gets difficult, is the fact that it is never ending, and that there's always new stuff coming up. So when
New
does a doctor
studies
have
and,
time to like actually go out and study new stuff? They don't. They're busy as hell with their practice, right? So when they're the main place that they actually find their information about new products or methods that can help people are through these people that are lobbying it to them from the drug corporations and stuff, by taking them out to fancy dinners and, you know.
Yeah, and then it's real too. It's
so then all of a sudden
it sounds almost made up.
It does, but then you have to think about it when all of a sudden they'll go, when they have a patient in and they go, oh, I heard about that symptom from this pamphlet from so and so, like, you know what I mean? It's like literally that becomes their fresh bit of information that's on tap. Where
that planted inception.
So friggin' they were talking about this further on Rogan. Sort of obviously that led me down that rabbit hole, and then like it makes so much sense that like running a business on the back end of it, then you have to think about them keeping the doors open. They have to pay all their staff, electricity for the place. So now you need to make sure you need to bring in X amount of patients per day.
Yeah.
So then you have to
keep the lights on.
Just to keep the lights on. So then now it gets to the point when you actually have to do the economics and lay it out of going, okay, well, so now we need to see X amount of patients per day. So that means that each patient we can only spend 5 to 6 minutes with, because that's the amount of time we're open.
Yeah.
So then it turns into a thing of just like, hey, how are you? What's wrong? This? Oh, I heard about that. Take this. Don't do that. And then it's rarely even a don't do that. You know what I mean? It's kind of a just like...
Yeah.
You know, rather than, hey,
try this and come back,
or the like proper 10 minutes precursor to that, going, so what's your diet been like? What's your exercise been like? What's your stress levels been like? What's been going on in your own life that's been leading to these other things?
Diet. I've never once had a doctor be like, what's your diet?
You know what? I had a doctor tell me when I was a kid, when I was like, I went there and I was like I don't remember what the problems were. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, like a 8-year-old kid or some shit started getting fat. Like I don't even remember what it was, but I just remember it distinctly standing out. The doctor just saying like, oh yeah, like this would, like, what did he say? It was like, your problems would be fixed if you were fat, if you weren't fat.
And that's problems?
Yeah. But that's like, he didn't tell me anything else besides that. Just basically like, you're fat, kid. But then like, no, like, here's what you're supposed to do. Here's a proper way to go going about things. This is what's leading to this. He was just like, yeah, you're a fat kid. And I was like, you're supposed to be my family doctor? Really?
You're like, you have applied none of your schooling to that diagnosis.
Yeah. And then as I get older, I end up finding out that the same family doctor was like a piece of shit to my mom. And she went to a new doctor. My homie growing up with, who played hockey his entire life, broke his collarbone. And that was his doctor at the time.
Dude.
Same doctor.
Dr. Douche.
And doctor goes, yeah, I want you to never play hockey again. And like, never to do this thing, never, like, you're never allowed to exert. And then like, he was playing hockey like the next year, like working out, and he was just
broke
like,
his collarbone.
Yeah, which is a hard one, obviously. But
the collarbone, that's like usually just the sling, right?
Yeah.
For that one, that's
So it's just like you start finding out about all these people locally that went to him, and he was just kind of like just try to get the patients in and out, give them a blunt piece of information, and then like you're just like, well, damn, dude,
you're just a fucking number, right?
Yeah, fucking exactly. To the point when I fucked up my hip at your old place. So I essentially,
I didn't even know about that till you told me, like, what, a year ago or something.
Yeah. So for anybody
at your house,
that's listening, my hip is now currently held together by a 6.5-inch stainless steel screw.
That's fucked. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, my brother didn't tell me. I'm like, my parents must have known.
Yeah.
They must.
Yeah, they must have known. So yeah, that's kind of a fucking crazy story. Like, long story short, it was like, we're being idiots with a couple friends, running down your stairs. I had like the big thick winter wool socks on, and I was running down these, like, you had like,
and there's like
you had like linoleum stairs. I'm pretty sure they were linoleum, weren't they?
Yeah.
with like the like plastic rubber bit on the edge of it, so like extra slippery when you're wearing wool socks. And I'm running down the stairs, and then like our homie who was like fucking around, like just like we're young stoned kids being idiots, and he was like trying to like just like get into the place while like we were like
you guys were pretending not to be there, right?
Yeah.
What it was?
We were fucking around because like we smoked a leftover bit of weed that was in a bag. Like we're like 16 at the time, 17. So like weed was a precious thing, and we had like split a bag like 3 ways, and there was like a nug left, and we had smoked it and been like, oh, okay, we'll just pick up more later because our buddy's not here. And then buddy found out about it and was like, what the fuck? And
it's like, yo man, I want some.
yo. So then like they came to the place, and like it wasn't like a serious thing, but it ended up turning into a serious thing because and it fell down fucking stairs. So like I was running down these stairs, and right when he slammed on the door, my left foot slipped, and I was halfway down the stairs, but my right leg stayed on the like 4th stair down, and my whole body just went, and my leg stayed and just went rip. You know, and it was just like, so basically I've explained it to you before, but I'll explain it to everybody else. Like your hip is a ball and socket joint, and so like that's how everything moves, and you get the rotating and shit like that. So on the hip bone itself, right below the ball like that goes into the socket, there's a growth plate, which is where the bone actually like that's where that's where it grows from. It has to have a point where it actually fucking I guess. So anyways, my hip feels funny every time I tell this story, I swear. So anyways, the growth plate on my bone slipped out of place about 1.5 centimeters, and there was like exposed bone marrow and shit inside my body, and like
no bueno,
no fucking bueno.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was ended up into.
But you were injured for a while, and then it wasn't diagnosed properly, right?
Yeah, because freaking.
And didn't they find out?
Well, because
yo, you could have gotten like crazy infection. Like
so I'll go into the story. I'm not afraid to go into the story on this, obviously. So my dad was a firefighter, so he knew like first aid and things of that nature.
Okay, so you fell, you ate shit, and you were like, whoa.
And I'm like, what happened? Yeah, I'm like, what do I do? What do I fucking do? So we called my dad.
Okay.
Because like I thought maybe I'd like dislocated my hip or some shit, or like I don't know. It was just like, yo, what do I do? Like, and it wasn't
Dad's always number one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We're you know, that was what I thought about, was just like he knows medical. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, firefighters first on the scene, anyways.
Exactly, right? Some crazy shit. So I'm like, oh yeah, he knows all this shit. So he shows up, and he thinks it's a fucking dislocated hip, and he's trying to pop it back in place.
Oh fuck yeah! That's right.
I'm like going white thinking about that. And fucking, it was like one of the that.
Are you at home at this point?
No, I was at this is like on your fucking laundry room floor.
Oh god!
Like screaming in fucking agony, just like the worst I've ever. No. I think I was in your brother's room at that point. I like dragged myself into your brother's room, and then like, so freaking he's trying to pop it in place, and then like he hears these sounds that I'm making, and he's just like, oh shit, like yo, that's probably not a dislocated.
It's like something else.
So then he's like, yeah, it's a muscle tear. I think it's a muscle tear. It must be a muscle tear. So then I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, fucking, so we like limped me up onto like a computer chair, and then like rolled me out to the car, and then fucking,
oh god.
So now I basically get rolled into the downstairs of my house, where we have, and like I can't make it upstairs. It's crazy. It hurts that much.
Oh yeah.
Like just to even move it like hurt. Yeah, and being still hurt. I had to have my leg up like this, like on a 45, like fucking, and even if I was sitting flat, my leg had to be up on a 45. So I get put up in the put down. That sounds like I got fucking murdered. But I was in the like the TV room downstairs where we had a pull-out bed. So I was just like, fuck it, I guess I'm down here for a while. And started going to physio and stuff like within the first week.
You didn't go to the hospital?
No, because you know, Dad said it was a muscle tear, right?
Dad knows best.
Dad knows best. Fucking yeah. So let's just use that tone as a little bit of foreshadowing. So I start going to physio, and I'm going for like, you know, like maybe like I've been going for about like 5 No, it was part of the first week. So I've been a few times, and then all of a sudden we get into the second week of going, and I show up.
Were you walking at this point?
Oh, fuck no. It was getting worse. It was getting so bad that like one night I actually like I pissed myself. I had to fucking like I couldn't get up in the middle of the night to get to where I was, so I just like had to like piss myself in place. It was the worst thing ever because you're just like in so much pain. You're just like pissing yourself in pain and just nothing you can do. And so anyways, we go to the physio and like it's like the second week in and shit's getting worse. Physio is just kind of like, so it's like 7:30 in the morning at this point. I think it was like my appointment was at like 8. So we left at 7:30 in the morning, go to my physio appointment, and he's like trying to do these simple stretches and I'm like, ah! Like screaming like a banshee and shit. And he's like, yo, this like, okay, so this isn't getting any better at all. Like in fact, it's getting worse. So yeah, I'm gonna send you for an x-ray. Yeah, we're gonna send you for an x-ray like right now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Like yesterday.
Yeah. So he calls up for an x-ray. Next thing you know, we get sent up like up the street to get an x-ray. Like all happens with like in an hour kind of thing. And then we're waiting around and then fucking we get the x-rays back like pronto kind of thing by like, you know, within the hour, which back in the day. Which
is crazy because it's like fucking normally you'd wait like I swear like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. So, but then
they just have like some dude being like, yo, this needs to get done now.
Absolutely.
I'm sending this guy.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you just need someone.
You know, the crazy thing is though,
just say
is
this needs to get done.
Simple fact that like back then when they actually had to produce the big, like, I mean, it still takes
like
time to produce the thing, but it took time to develop the x-ray.
Yeah.
Now everything's all fucking crazy digital where they can do it and you can look at the x-ray immediately.
That's insane.
Right. So we're sitting here like having to get bumped up to get like an express x-ray to looked at, like printed and shit. And so anyways, by about noon, we find out that they're like, yeah, we got to send you to a specialist for this at the hospital because this shit's fucked up. Like something's really wrong. And I'm like,
and you're like,
muscle tear, Dad?
Yeah. You're like, should I be panicking?
What's that about muscle tear? What?
Yeah.
Why does everybody like look like they're not wanting to tell me what's going on?
Yeah,
like everybody's kind of like, yeah, we got.
Everyone's got clipboards. They're like,
yeah, we gotta. Have you seen this? Holy shit, we gotta. So anyways, we go to this specialist. Wait in the whole hospital waiting room bullshit, you know, where you went in a waiting room to get into a waiting room and then you get into the thing.
Classic.
And we get up there and the guy goes, pulls out my x-ray, makes a really confused face.
And you're like,
I'm like, oh wait, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, so I don't know why they sent you here. I'm a wrist specialist. Oh, fuck you. You what? So then we have to go back to the other doctor to get referred to the proper doctor. So anyways, that all ends up happening.
Why does that shit happen,
exactly,
man?
dude. Fucking old school fucking ways too. Again, before everything was properly fucking done on computers and organized.
I have
and
a story about this too.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. So anyways, we get through that shit, get to the proper specialist, and he's like, oh shit. So yeah, like he explains the whole situation. Yeah, you got slipped femoral hypothesis or some shit.
Yeah,
some big words. And he's just basically like, yo, so essentially we're gonna put one of these, and he's like holds up this massive like 6.5-inch stainless steel screw. Basically looks like the screw that you would find at Home Hardware. And he's just like, yeah, this is gonna be what's gonna be holding your hip together from now on. So basically we have to put you under, and when we put you under, your nerves and muscles will loosen up enough that hopefully it'll slip back into place. But it's a good thing you came now, because if you waited any longer with that exposed bone marrow, you would have been risking infection, and then there's a very, very strong chance that you would have lost your leg.
That's so fucked.
And so my fucking dad's just like just like kind of like weaseling his way out the room kind of thing. And it was just like, yo, son could have fucking lost his fucking right leg because of my dumbass, like my dumbass diagnosis. And then like
that's so
the moving it around and trying to like put it back in place shit was just like only aggravating it and possibly and linking it to further possible infection and like all this fucked up shit where it was just like, you're lucky you got here when you did. Let's fix you up. Knock me out with some crazy shit. The thing was,
Did you go into surgery right away?
Yeah. So they right after. So I'm seeing this doctor by about 3. Some shit goes down. And we see him like. So it's now about 4 or 5, and he's just like, okay, so yeah, now you gotta go see this other doctor. We go see some shit. We're gonna get you prepped for surgery. I talked to this one. No. Before he said we get prepped for surgery, he goes, I talked to this the surgeon, and they said that they can get you in next Tuesday. But like that's really risky. Yeah, that's literally like what he was kind of trying to say. He's like, it's really not a good idea. So I told him, like, I literally told him no, like, you're doing it tonight. And so fucking I was like,
so this is all in one day.
All in one day.
You went to the physio.
The physio was like, in the morning.
This is getting worse. To surgery that night. And so my mom hadn't heard from like me and my dad the whole day, right? You're just running around
because we were running around, like got caught up in this mess of like what the fuck's going on. And then all of a sudden,
when like cell phones were fucking not what they are now.
No, iPhones weren't even out yet, obviously. And fucking so it was like yeah, so call my mom at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, from a Nokia cell phone, the Nokia, like flip. No flip, like the Nokia fucking like whatever 5190s.
Is it the
or
one that had that like walkie-talkie feature?
No, it was the indestructible Nokia, the one that they recently tried to redo. But anyways, fucking call my mom. I'm like, yay! She's like, where are you? I haven't heard from you guys all day long. Like, where'd you go? And she's like, oh well, yeah, went to physio in the morning. I'm just getting prepped for surgery.
Yeah, you sit down, mom.
No, I just hopped in. I was just getting prepped for surgery. She's like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it was just like, yeah, like, so.
And you're like, Dad will explain here.
Yeah, but so I just basically, they were like, so we're gonna we can't use knockout gas on you like we would a regular person, like to sedate somebody.
Yeah.
Because you're so large that no just let me finish. You're so large that we're worried because
that might kill you or something. No, they don't know the right.
No. We're worried because when we sedate people this way, sometimes people kind of flail around and things of that nature. Like they'll try, like their
Resist.
their body just like has reactions where they'll sometimes swing around and like, so that's why they'll kind of like they'll strap people down for it. And they're like, we're worried for our safety. Like that you will, like, if you're swinging around,
you'll just Bane mode.
Like you'll like, it's like we can't. It's not a good idea because it might not be enough, and then all of a sudden you're in this like it's so we have to fucking straight up like throw like crazy shit into your veins, like that's just like gonna knock you the fuck out.
Oh, they'd inject you with stuff.
Yep. Which leads me down a further rabbit hole of something I just found out recently that's fucked. But so anyways, I wake up from this shit because it was just like, okay, look at the fuck, because this is the weird thing. To get me into the rush surgery, I had to go to Children's Hospital. They got me into like somehow to get this like a surgery spot at Children's Hospital
because they just needed a room.
Yeah.
Like certain
so
equipment.
It was so they shot me up with this stuff and they're like, look at the ceiling, and he's kind of jokingly saying this, and he goes, look at the ceiling and count the dinosaurs, because there's dinosaur stickers on the ceiling because it's Children's Hospital. And I'm like, 1, 2, Tyranna. Just like out.
It's crazy how fast that shit works, eh?
Dude, that was such a heavy sedative, to the point where I wake up the next day. Remember how I said that my leg was only like this? I could only be like this without being in like super, super agony. Oh, jeez. I wake up in the fucking morning. I'm sitting up in a hospital bed. My leg's completely straight. High as the fucking Dickens. And I'm just like... Dickens. And I'm straight up just like looking around, and I kind of don't realize that my legs are straight. And I'm just like so high. So fucking high, because I was probably on morphine or some shit.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then my dad, like, no, he was the only person like that.
Because they're like, oh, this guy's gonna wake up and just be like fucked. So they give you shit before.
So they're like, I'm like, Dad, this is fucking crazy. And then they're like, this lady's like, oh, would you like a popsicle? And like, get your blood sugar back, right? And then I'm like, yes, give me some fucking popsicles. I want a fucking popsicle. And then she gets some popsicles, and I'm just like so high eating these popsicles. Daddy, you gotta get somebody fucking popsicle. Like I just remember being so fucked up eating popsicles. And then after I finish my popsicle, I finally go,
oh wait,
oh fuck, my legs are straight. Like, and then it was just like, so a lot of people have really bad feelings towards like surgery, right? Because it's like usually such an invasive thing.
Oh yeah,
that they're going through
you
such
fucking freak out.
Yeah. So my surgery, they made an incision on the top of my thigh that was about this big. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, about this big, and they basically just kind of went like,
yeah,
and then just like screwed me back together. Put in like 4 tiny little crosshatch stitches, like the 2 stitches this way and then 2 stitches this way of this dissolvable stitching right on the top that never really even felt awkward. And like 3 weeks later, the stitches fell out. And
that's
like,
all they did?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that's all they needed to do.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, when they knocked me out, the bone mostly moved back into place. Fucking Tim Allen, that shit. Good to go.
What?
Gave me some crutches and
that's so insane.
Yeah, so I'm just like, fucking hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking, and then like now I've just like forever got the screw in my hip, and then guaranteed within like the next decade I have to get a hip replacement.
Okay. Do you know how that works?
Awesome. We're at such a point now where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just get both. Go straight bionic man.
Both hips?
Fuck it.
You need one of those suits like the fucking Ripley suit.
The Echo suit?
Right?
The exoskeleton?
You just step into it.
Even better, I would go for the, it's the reference to that, but the one that Dot wore in Reboot.
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Yeah, or
it's straight up a reference to Ripley's, but
or what's his name? What was that Matt Damon movie when he's like in space and he's like, yeah, he's same type of thing. It's a newer one.
Oh, is that like The Martian or something like that?
No.
I haven't seen it. I know that, like, but
it's where like Jodie Foster is like the governor or president of like this planet, and like everyone there's healthy. They have like these machines that fix like every disease and stuff, and then it's just like all normal people on Earth, and Earth is just dying. It's all shitty.
I can guarantee.
And he has like he has one of those type of suits. Then it gets like fucking like Doc Ock style, like fused
right. Shit. I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And they try to go on this like spaceship to try to get there to like.
I think I've seen that suit though. And do they have like the gold shields that drop down in front of the mask?
No. It's
that's
a different
movie. Okay, there's another different movie, but yeah. I do remember that one with the fusing because I watched this YouTube channel Tested. It's got Adam Savage from from Mythbusters. So it's essentially he has his own segment on the show where it'll like my favorite thing. That
show is so sick, by the way, Mythbusters.
Yeah. I always loved that.
There's a lot of good
reason
episodes.
why I loved it is you find out more behind the scenes stuff, and it's because of Adam Savage and his like just eclectic OCD nature, and that was basically like the start of it was filmed out of like his kind of shop. Like he would set up his shops that way in the super OCD faction of like just needing to have everything in a certain area and like just knowing that you can use it for building something and he'll always have stuff where they'll have
anything, dude.
Yeah.
That's what was really cool about that show was when they would think of scenarios like, oh, how can we find out if this is plausible? And he's like, okay, well, we need to make fucking this. And he's like, yeah, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And he just
because he used to be a prop builder, and then he knows some other people that did this or knows somebody that did that. And so now on their show on YouTube, he'll have a lot of the behind the scenes stuff where they'll have prop builders for these newer movies come on and be like, yo, here's how we made this suit for this movie. And one of them, I remember it was that suit.
Sick.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to remember which episode it was because there's been so many suits that they show. But it's really cool because it's like I'm so fascinated
what's
like
what's the YouTube channel called?
Tested. I think it's just Tested, yeah. And it's really fucking awesome.
I'm gonna check this stuff out.
And then he'll have a lot of stuff where he'll do 1-day builds, where he'll be like, I need this little.
What?
Yeah, just tested.
What the fuck is that?
The making of a Chewbacca
second
mask.
thing. Oh, yo, from like far away,
right?
It looks like someone's getting prepped for surgery or something. You know what I mean?
No shit.
Right? I was like,
and here you go.
What's that thumbnail?
1-day build. He makes an Excalibur sword, like just crazy shit like that. To basic stuff, which I get really interested in, where he'll be like, I need to build a trolley that houses all of my paintbrushes and have a little removable cartments and shit. Like,
is that something you actually did?
Yeah, he did that one.
Oh, okay, I want to watch that.
And where, because he in his shop he uses multiple brushes for like just painting all of his props and things of that nature, and he needed a way to organize the shit.
Dude, that's sick. You know what my paintbrushes are in? An old peanut butter jar.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm pretty sure he even
throw in the dishwasher. And it's
some
just
shit
like it's
that.
just a nice big fucking jar.
Yeah. And it's like that exact kind of stuff, which is exactly like, it's like kind of even what led me to Casey Neistat, where it's just like that do-it-yourself build something.
The recent one he did of the fucking speeder bike and shit, and then they showed you how they made it.
That was so cool. That was so cool. That fucking, they use a lot of that insulation foam, and then they would just like spray it, and it would build up in areas and then shave it down.
The mirror over the
so
tires.
cool.
I was like, oh, that's smart.
Yeah, if anybody's a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen this yet, go look up Casey Neistat speeder bike. I think it was Halloween, maybe? Wasn't it? Was it for Halloween? Yeah, even if you just like look up Halloween speeder bike, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And it's a freaking
and they even
video.
have like the legit fucking like camo poncho with costume with like that helmet with like the good. Sick pad around it.
So good.
Yeah, Mike and I were talking about, because we watched all the Star Wars like the other week. So he had watched 1, 2, 3, and then I went up, and then we watched 4, 5, 6, Rogue One, Episode 7.
Right.
We watched all those in 2 days. And then, so we're just like, just so much Star Wars coming at you, right? And we got into talking about like our favorite characters, like, and then I was like, yo, costumes though. If you could have 3 costumes out of the Star Wars universe, what would they be, right? And that was one of his, he wanted the camo poncho with like that soft helmet. But then I was like, oh, what do you think you would choose if you could have 3 outfits?
Dark Jedi robe for sure. Like that's a must.
Just like if tattered. You're like 3 characters, like to have their outfit.
Fucking like Dark Luke's cloak from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, 100%. The black green saber.
Black, just tattered green saber that he made himself. Like black leather glove. Fucking fucking straight fucking. Yeah, that one's definitely one of my favorites.
Solid.
All-time favorites.
You're sick too.
Just because like it was just like that classic cape, hooded cape. That's all it really was. It wasn't even a robe.
It was just like it was cape. Clean, and it like everything hung nice, and it was like it was that was.
And I just remember because where they were too, it was like dusty and tattered on the bottom and shit.
Yeah. Well, when he goes to Jabba's hut.
Okay, so that one for sure. The other one, to be honest, that I always loved was Princess Leia's. This is not going to sound like what you think it is, the bikini, but like when she was dressed up as the bounty hunter with the thermal, dressed up with a little fucking thermal detonator shit.
Yeah, because I like the mask.
Yeah, I like
thing was sick.
Really fucking cool mask on that one. Again, my love for the bounty hunter shit, you know. And then like I want to say the Fett, you know, because it was just like such like the Boba Fett, like such an iconic. We talked about that one a while ago, but it's like. But I know that there's going to be. This isn't really an outfit, but this is more of a character. Always my favorite, Wickedy Warwick, which is the main Ewok from Return of the Jedi. I just always had a soft spot.
You want the wingsuit too to drop boulders and shit?
Oh hell yeah, dude! I was all about that shit. Lost Boy vibes.
Whoa.
Dropping bombs.
Whoa.
Where it was a lot of like sticks tied together with vines and just like that. Well, again, it's kind of even like I talk talking about it another way earlier with like we were talking about Yeezys, but I was talking about how I love like the earthy vibes on stuff, earth tones and earthy vibes and shit of that nature. Yeah. Where it's like that's why I love Return of the Jedi so much, just because of like where it takes place. The freaking like the forest castles, man. Like that for me.
In the trees. Like it looks like Capilano suspension bridge shit. Yeah, you know, they got the huts and shit.
That shit was so sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with those, even though I know one of them's not really an outfit that I could pull off legally, because it would just be like a hooded tunic, and then the rest of me would just be naked, and I'd be running around with a stick, and then people would be like, "Yo, that's not gonna work."
Yo, bro. Yeah.
Yep. They'd be like, "No, jail."
Yeah, I think Boba Fett, 100%.
Yeah, so fucking good.
And then,
what about? How do you feel about Django? Which colorway do you like better? Because that's basically what it is. It's a colorway. Yeah, Boba's is way better.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Earth tones.
And then I'm gonna go with the Luke from Return of the Jedi.
It's
the
so
all
good.
Black.
It's so
the
good.
green saber. Yeah. And then the third one's hard. It's like I always like the biker scouts. Yeah, they had more of a tapered helmet.
That helmet with the fucking man, yeah, so good. And not to mention they had like those crazy little stubby little blasters too.
Yeah, but there's a lot of sick outfits that you could actually like wear outside, like in real life today. Like Han Solo had a lot of sick outfits.
Yep. You maybe minus a few bandoliers and things of that nature,
fucking.
By the way, that's legit how I feel about that hooded cape. I could fuck with that.
Dude, the carnation ceremony at the end of episode 4.
Right.
The outfit that Luke has on, he has like kind of like this goldy, like yellow, like bomber jacket kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I do remember that bomber jacket was fucking high.
That outfit he had on was sick.
Clean. Clean. You know what? Minus them boots though, because they had some fucking weird ass.
They were high boots.
They were horse riding boots.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah. They're horse. You're going horse riding.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just like, but yeah, I know what you mean though. I straight up remember that bomber. Like that's funny that shit stands out to you when you're like a kid, right?
Han Solo got the navy pants, with the red stripe.
Fit.
Yeah,
Han Solo looking fire.
They had a lot of really good like the costume design for Star Wars was so good, and
fucking unreal.
Watching a lot of the behind the scenes stuff when they show you like how it was made, and they go into the backstage stuff.
Most of it was just winging it, man.
They had
I love it
with costume design, and then George Lucas would bring on people that were like age specialists.
Right.
So they would treat metal or like parts of guns or
weathering
costumes
shit.
That they would do like art
that is so cool
stuff on it to make it look like it was old, like an old beat up gun.
You're gonna love Tested then, because he has whole segments on how to weather stuff.
Okay, yeah. And then weather like, clothes and stuff. Like, and like
it's so cool, man.
Yeah, so interesting. Like it was one of those moments where when I was watching, I was like, whoa, I was like, that's a job.
Yeah,
like people like know like what stuff looks like weathered and how to make it look like that, how to fake
stacking weird colors of paints and shit that you wouldn't even think about, and then like fucking brandishing
applying it with different materials.
Wait until it's half dried, taking some newspaper and smearing it over it and shit.
Scrub brush,
getting it so all the paint works its way into the cracks, and then when you wipe it away, only those color paints are left in the cracks. And then sometimes they'll go over it with steel wool to put scratches in it, and then paint over that again. And then sometimes they'll use a certain stain to get another. It's so cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
Literally just like take
to mess with shit.
Yeah. The favorite one was they'll literally take like a rag with like some watery brown paint and just kind of smear it around stuff, and then like wipe it away like haphazardly, and it ends up looking like mud. And it's just like that stacked up with this like rust effect with like literally like
the rusting and like for like helmets when they'd have scratches, like Boba Fett, he's got the classic like the little ding, you know, like the indent
and battle scars, right? So the cool thing is like a lot of times they'll show you where they'll make the prop, because for a lot of movies when they're doing practical effects, they'll make multiple versions of the prop. They'll make the hero prop and then the action version of the prop or whatever. So the action version is like usually made out of like rubber or something, so you can fucking hit people with it, swing it around, have it be super light, you know. So then the cool thing is they start to show you how they'll weather and paint different materials to look like the hero prop. So then it's like, okay, so to make this, to make this rubber sword look like this metal sword, we have to do this. And then by the end of it, they like show you the sword, it almost looks real, and then he'll like whack somebody with it, and you're just like, oh, sick. Like any of that kind of process, like where they show you the actual processes behind it, like where they're like, yo, here's some
how-to.
Here's some shit that's, you don't need professional tools, you don't need anything. I'm using rags, dirty ass paintbrushes, like
that's one thing you realize, right, when you sort of dive into figuring out how they do that stuff, like in the professional world, is it's not done with professional stuff.
No, not at all. Like the only
it's like most of it's shit that you can just get from like craft stores, you know. They're
definitely taking it to a new level now by using 3D printing. But to finish that 3D printed object, they're still going back to hold, like you have to hand sand it and then paint it and use all those same techniques.
Exactly.
So it's like those tried and tested fucking just figure it out, do it yourself techniques of like you were saying, no crazy tools required. Like the craziest thing some of these people are using is like airbrush. You know, it's like, and even then it's like that's not very crazy.
I remember when I was in maybe like grade 4 or something, at fucking Richardson.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. When you know, like, so it must have been like grade 4. And you know, when you go to like the library with your class and they like, okay, you need to pick a book or whatever for the week to
because they'd always make you take like
for a couple days or
a book for the week or whatever. Right? Mine was always like comic books, Garfield,
like
shit.
Goosebumps. Like I know Goosebumps. Kids would always go straight to Goosebumps. Like Animorphs. Remember that shit?
Jeez. Those are the ones where
the covers, right?
I would get them for the covers. Solely, and then I wouldn't read the book.
I never read one.
I would draw the covers and the images from the covers. And you want to know what one of my favorite ones was that I drew? Was the
dolphin.
No, it was the blue looking beast thing where it had the pink tummy and he's like fucking got his hand out like this, and then it's like the beast from the east or some shit like that.
Oh,
like,
what? I need to see this.
Yeah, dude. It's such a cool looking. Like to the day, it's still a cool looking thing. But I remember that was one of my favorite things that I drew from Goosebumps. I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh wait, Goosebumps or Animorphs?
No,
I'm talking Animorphs.
Yeah, I was Animorphs. Okay. The one that I drew from Animorphs was like the horse person, and then there was
a chick.
No, but it was the final one where it was like the actual alien, where it like had antennae or whatever. I don't remember if I didn't spend too much time with Goosebumps. Like Beast from the East. Yes.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Look at this thing.
That's sick.
Somebody made a fucking puzzle of it. That's dope. Okay, let me ring. No, it was this one. No, it was this one. No, the Japanese version. Dude, that looks so sick.
That looks way better. That looks like a t-shirt.
Yeah. I want a t-shirt of that. I'm gonna fucking
throw this up. That's dope. They had fucking so many sick covers, dude. Like the artwork, so sick.
Like just even I remember drawing these trees. Look at those trees, dude. So fucking stringy, and then they had like umbrella trees and shit.
So stylistic.
Yeah, and it's just like everything exactly like everything was so stylistic. It had its own fucking style.
Yeah,
and it was just like it was inspiring, man.
Never seen anyone do trees like that.
Fuck, that's just so cool, dude. You remember fucking Scholastic school book or school days or whatever, or
like
what was it? Book days or
you get the pamphlet and you could order.
Yeah. Fucking cool.
What was it? Yeah, it was Scholastic something.
Scholastic book days.
And then speaking of things you get like once a month that you'd select, remember hot lunch days?
Yeah. It was always hot dog day for us.
Yeah,
and it would be like those fucking microwaved hot dogs.
And they'd be like, "Oh, what was your order number?" And you go up and you're like, "Okay, no, I ordered 2 hot dogs and then a chocolate milk."
Yeah,
there's always chocolate milk,
and chocolate then like milk chips, and a little bag of chips.
Yeah, or a cookie or something maybe.
Jeez.
And then rarely, I remember like once there was like a pizza one when it was like Little Caesars or something. I think.
No, it was
Hut, maybe.
Nope. You want to know what? You want me to blow your mind? You know what it was? It was McDonald's pizza.
Was it?
Yep, because McDonald's had fucking pizza at the time.
That.
Took a little M, turned it fucking little on a 45 for the Z's.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. And then pizza, I remember, it was usually hot dogs, pizza. And I remember Subway like a couple times.
Yeah, I think we had that a couple times.
Because I remember being young. And it was like, remember the kids ones they would have where it was like the circle buns.
Right,
like those sandwich buns, right? From Subway. That was back when they used to do the coupons. Or like the
stickers, the sticker cards and shit.
Yeah, when they would give you,
you give you one sticker maybe? For a 6-inch, 2 stickers for a foot long, and then when you got like
10, you would get a.
I think it was like 6. No, it was like 10 or 12. I think it was 12. It was 12.
Oh, that would make sense. 12 for
a foot long. Yeah.
Remember when it came out that they're not even foot longs?
Yeah. And then you find out that it's like literally like the worst shit for you.
Oh yeah.
Ever. And then the funniest thing ever is that there's one comedian that was like, who the fuck ever thought it was healthy to sit down and eat a foot-long piece of bread?
Jim Gaffigan.
So good.
And he goes off about Subway and he's like, yo, that bread exhaust that they pump out, right? And he's like, they're so stingy with the veggies and shit. And then he was talking about the cheese and he's like, I know mice that would refuse that cheese.
For reals, right?
So funny.
Man. So Red Bull always doing some fucking crazy shit, right? Just always
insane
always. Like,
action
cool.
sports.
You got an idea to do something? Yeah. Okay, here's a bunch of money to go try to do it. Right? Like that. So my buddy just showed me this yesterday. And I saw it pop up in my feed, but then I just didn't watch it.
Competitive Subway sandwich making.
Yes, that's right.
Sponsored by
That's right,
Red Bull.
My boy. While climbing, speed climbing. Competitive sandwich
diving while eating.
That's right. So these guys, base jumpers with wingsuits. You know, crazy. Yeah. So basically, these guys figured that it would be, why not go to the top of this mountain, and we'll get a plane. Yeah, we're gonna try to base jump into a plane that's flying.
What?
Yeah. So here's them failing and shit.
Yeah, what if you fucking the front propeller, man?
That's what I said when I watched it first. It's a propeller plane to boot.
A single engine, man.
Yup. So these guys climb up to the top of this bitch in their wingsuits, Red Bulled out, GoPro'd out. Let's go.
Yeah, because
and so then there's another plane flying to the top of
man. You could get sucked into that propeller arc. It would suck you in.
You never know. It is obviously pushing, but
I know. But if you, because like you can't control the wind. Like if you come around,
so it's just showing you that there's a 1.58 meter gap for them to go in. The pilot's going 150 kilometers. He can't see them. We're not near them. And he's basically trying to match the altitude of the plane.
Oh, so the plane's trying to
the plane's trying to match.
Them, basically.
Yeah, the speed of these guys that are fucking flying off the mountain in their wingsuits, guiding down, flying over these cliff faces. And they're basically just like, okay, plane, you take the lead. Pull up in front. I'm in contact with the plane, and it shows you like they're going at 135 kilometers an hour, flying down this mountain face.
They're just like chilling, dude.
Yeah, look at this. And so like they've been working on this like all day. Like, look at this shit's crazy, man. Look, like that's something you'd see in a goddamn James Bond movie, like for real. Like the pilot just died and they have to go recover the shit. So we just fucking flew into the gap like perfectly.
Sick.
Perfectly. Oh, why not do 2 guys, right? You can't just do 1. So it's got to be the second guy in the same flight.
More pressure on the second guy.
Yep. And look at this, just pop, pops
and I love how he tucks and then just like
as soon as he gets there, he just kind of goes. Look how hyped they are, though. That's so crazy, man. Like.
Red Bull.
What? Yeah, Red Bull money. I love it. They're just like, yo, so you're crazy good at what you do. What can you think of that hasn't been done? And they're just like,
well, I jump out of planes, but I've never jumped into a plane.
Oh, fucking here you go. That's the one. Just like throwing fucking.
Right.
Oh, man. I love that shit. Because it's just like, when does it end?
Well, what will the next thing be?
That's what I mean. Like it's so crazy, man. There's always something. There's just always something.
And yeah, Red Bull's like, it's like anything and everything really. Like anything that has to do with like physical exertion of any kind.
Yeah.
They're on it.
And then even into like extreme motorsport stuff. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like anything to do with your body, like moving.
Such crazy shit.
Like the surfing, and the diving, and the like the stunt plane stuff, and then also
the stunt plane stuff's crazy
when they're doing like the flips and stuff like through like bridges.
Right.
I forget what that's called, but
dude, like, have you seen drone racing?
Drone racing? No.
This is like the new shit that's going down, where basically, because it's,
what are they,
so
like, are they racing in
it's okay, I'll give you a bit of backstory on it. There's a big DIY group behind these ones where they build their own drones. Like they'll make little carbon fiber chassis, so it's put like the servos on it,
fucking like how people would have like their own little like remote control, like gas powered
yeah it's basically it's like what me and my homies do with like RC drifting and stuff like that. We have like a little niche of remote controlled stuff where we're drifting small 1/10 scale drift cars, where then they go back out of it and then they come in and are like, okay, well, we fly drones now. Not only that do we fly drones, but we're going to build our own custom competitive racing drones that we now put on the augmented reality goggles.
Can they control it like that?
And you can fucking control the camera while you're looking around and stuff, and then you control it while you're flying around looking through the camera of the thing.
That's so cool.
And it's starting to get sponsored, where they do this at abandoned castles and in fucking stadiums and shit. And it's becoming this massive thing because these things go so fucking fast, dude. Like, let me find.
It's like a countdown and the gate drops and the drones fly out.
Look, this is the World Drone Prix in Dubai.
It would be in Dubai,
of course, right? They hop on all this shit. So,
whoa, what?
Yeah, dude, this shit's insane. So these little tiny drones, and they're looking at this shit, piloting these crazy fucking drones through this courses and shit. And it's like, it's becoming the next crazy thing because it's the closest you can get to being inside a video game. The look on your face says it all right now. But that's the shit, right? Like,
it looks like fucking what video game is that? It literally reminds me of
F-Zero?
No, what is it?
See, this one's cool and all, but I like the one.
Is it like maybe it was like a Mario game where it's something similar, but the base level is like a rainbow. It's like a special level.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? And you're like in space.
That's a fucking classic fucking one.
What is that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Let me find the stadium racing. Oh, it's like the rainbow. I could just even find out about it. Mario.
That's what that totally reminds. Because it even has those arcs that you go through.
Rainbow Road. That's the one. Let me find the one where they do it inside, because they do it inside stadiums and shit, and they'll go through the corridors and walkways inside the stadium back out into the like actual open. It's so insane, dude. Yeah, here we go. This one's fucking crazy.
But this is like a year old kind of stuff.
Yeah, and this isn't even like the modern, like what's going on now, and it's blowing up. Watch this, dude.
Oh shit.
And because you build your own drone, like you know that you're gonna smash a bunch, right?
They look pretty small.
Yeah, dude, they're like the size of my Spark, if not smaller.
Yeah. I was thinking they were bigger.
And look how crazy this is, man. How
it'd be so hard to control, it seems. Like, holy shit.
Dude, man. Yeah, it's exactly it. Like, it's this whole thing. Like, there's no like built-in AI like a lot of like the newer drones.
Oh, shit.
Like when you buy a DJI drone, it has all this obstacle avoidance and shit. This is just like whichever way you push, it goes. Like at all times. And so there's just so look how fast
that's
that
literally
shit is.
A video game.
Yeah. Like I would legit be interested in trying this shit out.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking sick. And you're sitting with the goggles on and you're just like
and they're like somewhere in the warehouse, like in a room or something.
Yeah. And there's championships for this shit around the fucking world now, man. And it's like becoming huge. This fucking drone racing.
Well, it's entertaining, man.
Let's look up 2017 Las Vegas drone racing finals.
Oh, June?
3 months ago. Oh, it's just like the best drone. But yeah, like there's just these tiny, small little like handmade things, and there's like this cool there's this fucking whole league behind it. Oh, dude, what the fuck is this shit?
Makes sense. I mean,
yeah, like that's the world that we live in now, man. That you can find a group of people that are into what you're into, and it just like,
oh, that's so sick.
Oh, dude, I like the ones that like go through like physical areas. This shit's crazy.
Yeah. Like the warehouse shit is cool.
The warehouse shit. I want to find the one. This one's short, but
because like imagine like real life scenarios, like the warehouse stuff, for example. Say you're like spying on like some crazy shit, and then they see you, and then now you gotta get out. So you gotta get through the warehouse, and like while people are shooting at you and like trying to go after you.
Dude, I think about fucked up shit like that, where it's just like, what kind of actual drone technology do they really have? Are they at mosquito shit yet?
I mean, like, yeah, if this is to the public, what's the shit you can't get or that you don't know exists?
Fucking it's gotta be trips me out all the time, man. Dude, what the fuck are these guys doing? Yeah, so cool, man. It's just like I find out a little bit about drones, and I go down the rabbit hole a little bit, and then I find out about drone racing, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's like the stuff you just don't know about, right? And you're like, whoa, this is already a thing.
Through the
cool
Dolphins Stadium.
Miami Dolphins Stadium.
This is what it feels like to fly one lap. For the multi-million-dollar drone racing league. Crazy. And again, it becomes into this thing now that because we're in the future where it becomes a whole different sport on its own, because you're not actually risking like people's fucking mental state, their physical state, their safety. Like that's where it gets into like fucked up shit.
They go like inside.
They go inside through the fucking walkways because it's nighttime and it's all shut off, right?
Looks like they're doing work on it too.
Dude. Yeah, this is the fuck. That's what I'm talking about. The real world shit. Go downstairs into the fucking corridors and shit. No way. Hey, they're right. They just said that they're betting that this will find large audiences online, and here we are talking about it online, showing more people
online.
Because it's that shit, man, where it's just like, it's fucking crazy. Like, that was one that I was even going to bring up about that. Like, I'm going to do some full circle shit here on that fucking heavy anesthesia that sedative that they put me on when I went in for my surgery.
Oh yeah.
I'm recently finding out that there's huge links now to.
Oh yeah. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, that if you ever have been, that guy fucking bailed. That they're making large links now to sedatives, like heavy sedatives. If you've ever been put under for a large portion of time for surgery or something like that, it's so heavy on like your neural system and shit of that nature that, or was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like your brain chemistry and shit of that nature that it can like literally be one of the leading causes of like putting people into spiraling depression and shit like that, and that they're finding it be the number one cause of why Robin Williams actually killed himself, because he had
put under.
Yeah, he was put under heavily for open heart surgery.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and shortly after that was when he started displaying a lot of this like really, really outward depression, and shortly after, and that shit linked again to stuff like freaking with the effects of head trauma, which is the one that they've been under for the last long period of time, that they've clearly been able to link CTE and depression and shit of that shit towards head trauma and concussions of that shit. So more of that being linked to stuff like with like Dave Mira, you know,
right,
where it's like, how many concussions has Dave Mira taken? Like,
that's sad.
So sad. Like fucking like RIP, man. Fucking
yeah.
And it's really interesting. Like where I'm finding out about all this other stuff where it's like they're finding that boxers and football players and stuff like that were in it when they were younger days are going in and getting their heads like CAT scanned, and they're finding micro fractures all throughout their skull and faces and shit like that, which is what worries me so much, because I can literally feel like crack lines. Like, I'm not even like making it up. I can feel crack lines through my fucking skull because like, and I swear it's either from like smashing my head as a kid, extreme sports, or using my head as a battering ram in football.
Oh God.
And then that shit mixed with the fact of like,
So then
being put under for like such a heavy sedative when they're like, well, this regular shit's not going to work on you, we got to go to the big heavy, bring out the heavy guns.
They were like concerned. They're like, you're so big.
Yeah, that's not a thing you want to hear before you go under.
Were you worried at all when you were being put under that
that I might not be come back?
No, not that. Well, I mean, that is a possibility, but
they told me a percentage.
Yeah, but I mean, where you're not actually under. It's like, you know, when they don't do it properly, where you're like you're not able to move, but you're fully aware. You're awake with your eyes closed, basically, and you can feel everything. You know,
that's why when
you ever hear those horror stories?
That's why when they told me we needed to bring out the heavy stuff, I was like, yeah. Like, I don't want to have some waking up and you fucking Tim Allen in my fucking hip, you know, got the fucking like the flesh saw out.
Yeah, I remember watching some fucking one of those things on like TLC, you know, those like
they
always had those emergency room shows and shit.
Oh yeah, I can never watch those.
I remember they had one about people would be on talking about surgeries that they've gone through and when they were awake, and this whole show, that's the whole show, was just people on it talking about man. And I remember this one specifically, this lady was getting some surgery on her stomach, so like they had to cut across her stomach, open it, and like I forget what they had to do, but they had to cut across her entire stomach and then open it and then cut stuff inside and whatever they needed to do, right? And that happened to her, where she was like, she got put under, and then she was like, oh, and then she kind of came to, but her eyes were closed, and she thought it was done. Right. And she's like, oh, I'm just like waking up from surgery, right? Yeah. Because she's like, I remember I could hear the nurses talking, and they were like, probably the two nurses in there, like hanging out, like cleaning, sterilizing stuff, laying it all out to prep. That's when she woke up, right? But her eyes are closed because she can't open them, right? And she assumed she was done, and then she was like, could hear the doctor come in, and they were like, and then she clued into what was happening, and she was like, oh no, and she's like, I was screaming as loud as I could, but she wasn't making a sound, right? And she realized like they were about to start surgery, because like, and they were touching her, right? And she could feel it. So she was like, oh my fucking God, right? And like, yeah, and this lady was describing, they cut across her stomach. I felt the entire thing, and like, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, that's a thing? Like, well, there's what? Like so
that's like the
scary.
most ridiculous version of what is it? Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Where people get that shit. But like, dude,
I have a friend that has had that.
Like, I've had that kind of shit like on the different end with the dentist, and they put freezing in your mouth, and I was getting a root canal or some shit. Which one was that?
A root canal?
Yeah, I was getting a root canal.
Dude, that's pretty gnarly, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Don't they pull the nerve out?
It's insane.
Like they freeze and cut and shit.
It's so fucking gross. So they were doing that one, and then like basically they jammed in the needle, freeze my mouth, went to go in working, it didn't work. So by the end of the story, by the end of that dentist trip, they had shot my mouth up 9 times
on the one side
to try to freeze me, because they'd be working. Holy and then all of a sudden they would fucking be like, nope, I can feel it, I can feel that, and they're just like, oh well, here's some more, and just like jam the fucking thing back in. But that's crazy that you're talking about that surgery with that one where they just cut right across. With fucking the lead singer of Pantera, or was the lead singer of Pantera, Philip Anselmo, he had this tattoo across his stomach that said "unscarred," and you're always kind of like, oh, like you just thought maybe it was like kind of like just him being badass or some shit. You end up later finding out that from being in heavy metal bands for basically his entire life and headbanging like such a freaking savage on stage and being an asshole, like just not like, oh, my back hurts today on stage, I'm just gonna go harder. His back got so fucked up that he like would just again keep aggravating it, keep going down the road where he's on painkillers and stuff for it, and then it kept getting so bad where it got to a point when they said, okay, Phil, like you can't,
like his doctor,
like you can't go on to this next tour, we need to give you surgery. And essentially what we're gonna do is that
across
same
the belly,
we're gonna, because it's we have to get to your spine, but the only way to get to this like
is from the front,
was from the front. So
Holy
what we're gonna have
shit.
to do is we're gonna have to cut open your stomach and like fucking
push
leg out,
everything to the side.
pull everything out, put it on the table beside you, like fucking
What?
operation, then go into the thing,
Oh my god,
fix up your spinal thing, like fuse the disc or whatever the hell they had to do, and then put all the pieces back in, hopefully right,
oh my god,
and then sew him back up. And then he wouldn't be able to physically exert himself for like a year or do anything crazy. And so what did he do? So what did he do?
So crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Right when you're about to go on like the biggest world tour that you've ever been on with your band. Your band's blowing up.
My stomach.
Yeah. So what does he do? He says, fucking like, give me the craziest painkillers you got. He essentially got on fucking synthetic heroin. And got unscarred, tattooed across his fucking belly where they were going to make the incision, and just fucking kept going. And
So he didn't do it.
Nope, didn't do it. Kept got on the heaviest painkillers known to man, and then he thought that nothing could stop him, and then got addicted to heroin and went down that hole. And that's basically like what was the demise of everything, was the fact that he was just like on every, like, because he was like at such a state where he was like, thought he was this badass lead singer of a band, nothing can stop me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I fuck with this shit.
Get like that god complex.
Yeah. Right? Fuck, guess what? Can't fuck with heroin.
Did he OD?
No, well, he did actually. He OD'd. He's clinically died 3 times.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive, yeah. Twice when he was a kid, though, because he used to have really, really crazy health complications. He clinically died when he was like 7 or 8 years old. And then again when he was like 11. Like he had, yeah. So he's had a fucked up life, and then fucking goes through the whole shit. But it was just like, so it ended up happening about 7 years ago. No, probably longer than that. 10 years ago or some shit. They finally had advanced surgery enough where they don't have to cut you open and pull the whole thing out. He went and got the fucking surgery, and he's back like training again. Yeah, then he's fine now.
They were able to do from the back?
Yeah, they didn't have to pull out all his fucking guts. They had some new crazy shit that they could do.
It seems like, is that really the path of least resistance? You know, go from the front?
Well, I think they were doing either like maybe some stem cell shit or some kind of blood doping kind of shit to help actually regenerate tissue now, rather than just like back in the day, it would just be like, well, we'll just fuse shit together. And you get all these people that are just like can't move anymore, and like it's just like, no, dude, we got to find ways to stop the things that are aggravating that, but then find ways to rebuild the shit that's making us be this fucked up way, you know? Like, so fucked, man. Like, could you imagine?
But think about, like, I didn't even know that was the thing, but I wonder how many people actually had that.
Yeah,
like,
that actual,
you know what I mean? The amount of people in the world, at least one person had that surgery.
Yeah.
You know, from the front.
The operation. The game
insane.
of operation. Yeah, it's so fucking gross. Like, I remember, like, because there was
shit with the body. I don't like that shit.
It's so fucked, man. When you just start hearing about all that kind of stuff, and you're just
sick.
like, my God, man. These things are just literally like flesh machines.
Right?
Flesh vessels for our fucking consciousness, like, pretty much.
So fucking vulnerable too, right?
Oh God, dude, so vulnerable.
The one that like is such a poor design is your fucking jugular, man. How is that not behind like your breastplate or something? It's like your neck is exposed at all times,
or even just your fucking,
you know what I mean?
Achilles heel.
Yeah.
That one always fucking weirds me out, because like that, like if that If that goes, and it just takes a predator, like a simple little,
dude, Hostels,
as they're chasing after you too, like an animal, a tiger or some shit. Yeah. It's just like, and you're just like, oh,
it shoots it out. Yeah,
like
just little.
That's your meat. Like so much force comes through that one tendon, and that's what keeps you upright, moving.
Yeah, there's a couple, man. Your Achilles, your jugular, and then your femoral artery.
Right. Yeah.
Inside your leg there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit. These things aren't fucking
dog.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, how's it not behind shit?
You ever broken any bones?
I have. Well,
like no major breaks then, because you'd immediately be like, well, my arm, my fucking leg.
No, nothing like that. But earlier when you were talking about X-rays, and I was like, oh, I have a funny story, but
right.
That I was gonna kind of tie in was when I rolled my ankle. The worst time I rolled my ankle, and I went and got X-rays, and they were like, basically like along my foot, they were like, oh, along here it looks like you have a crack.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we'll send these to your doctor. And your doctor will go over them, and then you guys can figure out the best route to go about like rehabilitating or like, because it wasn't like something crazy that they would have to screw together.
No.
It's more of like maybe physio or maybe something like a minor surgery to just cut, like do something like, you know,
some form of supplements to help recalcify the bone or some shit.
Right. And I was like, oh fuck, right? But at this point, like normally when you roll your ankle, it swells up on like the ball, right? On the ball there, but this one, it was swollen on the front, like it was.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I've done one of those.
Oh my god, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, I think I broke my foot.
Yeah.
I was like, why is my leg? And it was so like swollen up my leg. It was so insane. And then they were like, yeah, it looks like you cracked the bone that kind of conjoins with your pinky toe, right? At the bottom.
Body just goes in defense mode, like, fills up your foot with fluid
to protect it. Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I basically was like bedridden for a week until it like came down, and then I went to go see my doctor, and he's like, yeah, so what can I help you with today, right? And then I was like, okay, weird, you don't already know, but I was like, yeah, I just wanted to see your opinion, I guess, on those X-rays. And he looks at me and he's like, X-rays? And I was like, sick. He's like, X-rays? What do you mean? I was like, okay, sick, cool. Thanks, hospital, for not sending them over and like doing your job. So it just got dropped. I don't know. So like my foot
lost along the way.
Yeah. So my foot like never really healed properly.
Oh, it's so dumb.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's just it's just oh, wait, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, what do I phone the hospital and be like, hey, is there an X-ray somewhere? Like they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like someone just fucked up along the way, and that shit's probably just swept under the rug, along with
on to the next patient.
Yeah, with
pay the bills.
Shit, right? And you're just like, okay, hopefully like this shit doesn't go crazy one day.
Yeah, man, fucking bodies are fucked, man. I remember. There's like when you talked about the crack in your foot, I was watching this documentary a while back on gladiators.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, what a fucking wicked thing to watch documentary on.
On what?
Just like
you just
it was one of the ones where it was this is back in the day, like, so it was on actual TV.
Oh, okay.
I was like flipping through the channels, and then it came on, or whatever, like those documentary channels were like higher up. I always forget, like in like the late 40s and shit of the channels.
Yeah.
And so they found these bones of gladiators. Well, they let's just say this: when they found these bones, they didn't know what they were from, because these bones were like so
damaged and shit,
oversized,
okay.
and then when they found this. What really perplexed them was they found this ankle bone. That, you know how we have like 200 plus bones in our foot? They found this ankle bone with the foot, and then like the main. Which one's this one again? I always forget what bone it is. Is that your femur?
Or
fibia?
No,
fibia.
femur.
You have fibia and tibia are the two down
tibia,
here. Yeah. So whatever, your fibia and tibia attached to the ankle with the foot, where there should usually be hundreds of bones. And then like same thing with the ankle. There's like
just like one solid cast.
It was, the ankle was no longer like these 20 pieces. It was like 2 and it was like twice to 3 times as thick and like fused together.
Whoa.
And then the foot was like almost like a plate, because the top of it, like all the bones had been fused together and reinforced and recalcified, because the same shit.
I think they're just broken over and over, that it just reheals.
That's
and then
exactly
those
what
gaps
they
get filled.
did. They used the exact analogy with the the guys who will fucking shin kick, like Muay Thai fighters will shin kick trees to crack the front of it to recalcify this bone.
That's so insane.
So they would re-break, their ankles would be broken again and again and again and again through training, just because they're training so hard that they would just fuse into these massive unrecognizable bones that when they were dug up by archaeologists, they're going, what are these? Like, what is this? Did we find a new species?
Yeah.
Like this fibia tibia all on its own is twice as thick and like.
Do you remember
beefy.
where they were?
I don't. I'm really bad at geology, or geography, I should even say. That might be the right term for that one. And that's the other thing. If you're ever listening to me say something and I'm not directly looking it up on a computer, you might want to take it for a grain of salt. But
allegedly,
or put an allegedly before it.
Yeah.
But usually I'm decent at reciting my shit. But yeah, this one was like that simple shit. They're like, what are these bones? And then they went around and they found more of them, and then were able to find more stuff through like the training grounds of like after it was like dug up, and they'd find ways that they train, and they're kind of like, oh, these guys are just fucking savages.
And they're probably like, oh, they probably would date it, and they're like, what was going on around this time in this area?
Because they found it was when they like dug up one of the it was one of the actual coliseums that had like the fucking training area and like the whole thing.
And then the fucking people that die, they just throw them in the body pit.
Yeah. So then they're finding regular people's bones, right? So then they're at the same time they're finding these fucking crazy ass things. So they're kind of going, okay, so it's not just like this wasn't a regular thing. So these were the gladiators, and these were what the fuck? Like they're just having their minds blown. Like them, yeah, thinking maybe it was just a way of the times or a certain type of people, and it was like, well, yeah, it was a certain type of people. It was fucking gladiators. Dude. Just bred to be these fucking like just tanks of fused bone and like crazy muscle, and like if they weren't nuts. Strong enough, I know a lot of them were murdered. Like if they weren't fierce enough of entertainment, they would be murdered in the ring.
What?
Yeah, because that was the whole thing. It was all to death, right? When you go to the ring, it was to death.
Yeah, but like if you won, and then you weren't entertaining enough with winning, they would kill you still.
Well, further down the line, it would just be kind of like killing off like a WWE character or some shit. Just like, well, you're not the new guy anymore, so we're gonna like put you in a situation where now all of a sudden you're fighting way too much. Like we're gonna give you a tiger, a fucking like, because they would put live fierce fucking animals. They had animal cages filled with all these like predators. Fucking, so they would just fucking like break their fucking shit over and over again, so that there'd be like their ankles must have been like this, and you couldn't even find the Achilles.
Yeah, right.
You know,
they would go shh, and they'd be like, ha ha, nothing there, right?
And just fucking
just Hulk
gladiator
smash,
style, fucking spin around the sword, top of the head,
just open the mouth, break the jaw the wrong way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
like the way they described these guys, they were that like just these Brutus, like just short, stocky, just pure muscle, like re-break everything so it recalcifies into weapons. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh man, yeah, and like even their swords that they had designed for gladiators, like these short, stubby, like just little.
Oh yeah, they were like just almost half size. Eh?
Yeah, and they're just these blunt little fucking I don't know, perfect for the little fucking They don't
need to be long and be nimble.
No. They just need you to get in there and be a foot away from that fucking tiger as you're fighting for your fucking life and shit. What crazy fucking times, man! Right? When that's the entertainment.
I was just gonna say, I was like, just for entertainment.
Like I was just showing you like a PewDiePie video earlier. Like it's fucking
like we were watching a wheelbarrow shit.
Yeah, wheelbarrow shit, or some silly Swedish guy. Like
there's so much you can choose from nowadays, right?
Yeah, and then back then they were like, well, we're only entertained. It was the beheadings
in the courtyard where everyone could witness. It's like,
that was the shit. Yay.
People would wake
Billy,
up. They'd be like, "Oh shit, we're gonna be late.
Billy,
It's beheading
pay
today."
attention. It's your first beheading for your
Right?
7th birthday. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet mom. Like, you're like,
I
what?
caught it.
Yeah, oh God.
Right?
I got the blood
So,
on me. Yay.
the home run fucking-
Yeah, exactly, dude. Man, that's fucked up.
Right? That's some twisted shit, right?
Well, that's when you start thinking
Public
about it.
hangings.
When everybody's like, man, we live in the worst time.
Beheadings.
We live in the worst time. And it's like, well, you might want to pay attention to what used to actually happen, because beheadings and like, oh, it's a fucking witch.
Well, I mean, there's shit.
Like,
Still some of that stuff that goes on.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but
like conditions now are way better than what they used to be. So it's like things are not worse now than they were.
yeah.
Period.
My favorite one is like, I think it was Rogan that said it, where he was like, you know,
We live in the best times ever.
Yeah, we live in the best times ever. If somebody rolls up on shore in a boat, you're not going to run in fear and like hide all your belongings
Have
and
like
your wife and
cannibals
children
chase
and
you
shit.
out or something.
Yeah, because somebody's gonna like come to your beach. It's gonna be Vikings. They're gonna rape and pillage and burn everything.
Yeah.
Now somebody comes to your fucking coast. You're like, come on in.
Yeah. What's up, fam?
Yeah. Oh man, like shit must have been really bad in your country. Like you want something to eat? You want something to eat? You want to drink?
Yeah, you must be tired.
Yeah.
You want a place to lay down? You hungry? Thirsty?
Oh man. So it's funny how that shit works. It's like it's all kind of perspective, really, right? It's like what gets presented to us or what you want to really pay attention to, right? Like that's the big one. We have so much coming at us with media nowadays that it's like, you know, you can be very dictated by what's put in front of you. You know?
Yeah, that's why you just gotta be aware and weed through what you get.
That's fucking like they're just even the Mark Zuckerberg had a comment about fucking how he utilizes Facebook algorithms to what was the terminology that he used?
Wait, who?
Mark Zuckerberg,
Okay.
the creator of Facebook.
Yeah.
Uses the algorithms of Facebook to basically kind of like construct social values, if that makes sense to you. He's basically able to control how people think through Facebook by the algorithms that's put forward to how each person views Facebook, because each viewership is tailored to that person.
So like what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's able to basically dictate thoughts and fucking persuade people into certain mentalities and things of this nature. Yeah, and he's like flat out admitted it. He's just like, oh yeah, we're using it to
when
dictate.
people are like, oh, what should I do today? And you're like, I really feel like getting that new spicy chicken down at and then you're like, I'm gonna go get it. And then you're like, but what sparked that thought?
Yeah.
Fucking tailored ad.
Well, it was just
something.
like, to like that crazy shit where it was like, it happened in one of our first podcasts where I showed you that electric bike, and then when we went to go search some videos later on in the podcast, that like there were sponsors for that electric bike popping up, and you're just like,
you're like subtle,
brah.
Yeah, subtle. But a lot of people wouldn't even piece that together, though. They'd be like, "Oh shit, it's right there. I didn't have to look for it."
They're stoked on the tailored view.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I don't know. I kind of want to see how the world is, and then choose it as I may. You know, rather than you tailor what you think my purview should be. Like, no thanks, fam.
No thanks, fam.
No thanks.
Fuck, that's funny.
That's funny as shit, dude.
Yo, how'd your woodworking stuff go yesterday?
Good. Fucking still got so much on my plate, but gotta go back to the wood shop tonight. Fucking crank out a bunch more shit. It's that holiday rush, you know.
Is the holiday rush started?
Oh yeah.
So it's the 3rd today.
Yeah.
It's like boom, you've noticed it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, like it's like.
When does it start? Would you say? Somewhere in November. Yeah.
Yeah, like early November. For sure, because people want to make sure they get their stuff in time, and like.
And does it just get busier and busier? Like next week will be even busier than the week after. Like the week before Christmas will be chaos, or will it be dead?
No, it'll be slowest then, because people kind of know now with online shopping and stuff that like, yo, I want to make sure I get my stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like it was fun watching, because like over the years you'd kind of see the scramble. Like where people weren't used to online shopping, but then they would realize that it was there to save their ass at the last minute and all this other shit. And like
the amount of people, right, that they just post up on their couch, do all their Christmas shopping on their phone in an hour.
Yeah.
And then for instance, like Amazon or whatever, but And then
That saved my ass.
don't they have
ago.
They have a thing now where you can get them pre-wrapped, right?
Yeah, gift wrapped shit.
You get them delivered wrapped.
Yeah. Convenience.
Dude, right?
But done right. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things where I'm like, I'm all, like, it's kind of, we've talked about before, but I'm like, I'm for convenience if it's done right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like whenever I see something just kind of gets a little bit half-assed along the way, it's just like, that's when shit's not going to go well. You know what I mean? And it's like, so yeah, it's been fucking busy times, but excuse me. That's why I'm so fucking tired. That's why I'm so used to it at this point where I'm looking forward to it, where it's like I know this is my busy season, so like my body's ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of even why I'm like,
all right, let's do it.
Yeah, that's why it's like the back on the supplements and the working out and shit. I'm like, I need this flesh vessel to fucking run at its best. Run at its best, you know what I'm saying? So,
dude,
fucking
reals.
Keep pushing her forwards, you know?
Yeah, I re-upped on my B12.
Nice. Yeah, that's a fucking good one, man.
But yeah, it's one of those things, like I was saying earlier, that I'll probably have to finish this bottle, and then when I get my next bottle, I'll be like, start to notice it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're gonna take it day one and be like, whoa, I feel a sudden rush of energy. Whoa, damn, that was $16.99 well spent. I got 100 more days of this. All right,
it takes a while for your body to start like accepting shit. You know what I mean? And then like not only that, like through you like taking in the good quality stuff, your body starts to realize the other stuff that's coming in and be like, well, do I need that? Am I getting anything out of that? You know, it's the old turnaround.
Such a game, you know, that you're constantly playing.
Yeah. And then I'll fucking,
because like, who has the money or the time? Like, how sick would it be if you had a fucking like a trainer and a nutritionist? It was like, but it's like you had blood tests done and certain tests, right? And they were like, oh, your body's like lacking in like iron. You have an iron deficiency. Did you know that? That's why you're always so tired, like shit like that. And like, if you just had all your nutrition like just laid out what you should like for your diet and exercise and like just to optimize. I heard someone just recently
talking about that, where it was like it would be actually cheaper because of like how I think it was 40% of Americans are clinically obese nowadays. Yeah,
which is crazy.
Which is fucked. Where it said
40%.
1 in 3 people have some form of chronic problem. 1 in 3. So it's like, that's fucked, dude. So basically this guy was saying that it would actually, in the long term, because the amount of money that goes into funding all these health problems and diabetes,
so like
and stuff
right
like
away
that,
to do that, to have a nutritionist
to give every person a nutritionist, a fucking a gym trainer, and spend that extra 10-15 minutes with them at the doctor's office would be cheaper in the long run by like
and more efficient
tenfold than all this other shit, and we would end up with like a way healthier society. Like, and it's just like this thing where we're getting so far removed a lot of stuff where it's just like, if we can focus on the fucking basics of life and like, you know, health, eating and sleeping properly and making sure the mind's right,
people have food and
then that shit's gonna eliminate what like our main problem is on like all fronts right now, which is just mental health. We're seeing it in every front, man, whether it be through fucking you know, like I know we don't want to get onto like too much news topic shit because that's not what the show's about, but it's just like we're seeing it throughout the news and all the other shit where it just comes blatantly forward, where it's just like, you might want to pay attention to this whole mental health game, because there's just a lot of fucking fucked up people that are either searching for some form of recognition or just trying to find some form of, you know, way out or whatever it is. That it's just like,
or like the shootings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is that correlated?
Where like some of that shit's being mixed in now. We're starting to see people fucking like live stream their like police chases and shit.
And they were talking about that on. I was listening to Rogan and I think Brian Callen was on.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Phil Hartman.
Right.
And he got murdered.
His fucking wife
murdered him.
She was insane.
And she was like on Zoloft. They were saying like, when you mix like, she was mixing like Zoloft and cocaine or something, and how it like makes you psychotic. And they were like, well, I don't know if it is the reason why she did or didn't, but then just like that in general, you're like, his fucking wife murdered him. That's fucked.
So fucked, dude. I was such a Phil Hartman fan when I was younger. Through all, like, obviously just Troy McClure on fucking Simpsons to I was the biggest news radio fan, which was actually what led me to become a Joe Rogan fan.
I remember that show. Yeah,
because I fucking loved Joe on that show. He was the fucking wisecracking repairman.
So young.
He had like the single pierced ear and like full head of hair and like, you know,
so much smaller.
Wasn't all fucking TRT'd up, you know. Fuck, man. He's definitely the canary in the coal mine for like or just for like what new science you can to like fix your body and shit.
Oh yeah.
That's what's led me into like wanting to actually get look into getting stem cells to fix my fucking wrists, because he got one shot in his shoulder like 2 years ago and he's still fucking pulling 90-pound bows like 100 times a day.
That's fucked too, right? Like, have you ever tried to pull?
Yeah. Fucking when your brother's little one, and then also other ones at the camp back in the day when we went to
It's really hard, and like to hold it, and you're like, your arm's just shaking.
Yeah, and then when you do it wrong and it slaps into here,
fuck. Oh, it's like volleyball, right? You know, when you miss your wrist. Oh
man, you feel like such a bitch,
and you're like, you're like, that kind of hurt.
What, are we gonna go play volleyball?
You're like, all right.
Okay. I'll shut up.
Respect levels a little bit higher.
Yeah, for fucking reals. Shout outs to those volleyball shorts though.
Ain't mad at those.
Yeah, ain't mad at those.
Yo, I remember there was a video game that came out fucking a long time ago.
Yeah.
Look up this commercial. And it was a video game for like this beach volleyball video game. And the trailer was like
Dead or Alive,
it was showing like these dudes sitting on a couch watching like the intro of the game, and it's like, you know, animated girls like jumping around playing volleyball, and then it's like
it's gotta be the Dead or Alive.
And then it's all these dudes sitting on the couch, dude, and then they like all of them pick up a pillow and just like put it in their lap.
I'm pretty sure that has to have been a Dead or Alive fucking game, because Dead or Alive, that was like the one where it was like a commercial for it to promote it. Right. Commercial.
Let's see if you can find it. I wonder if that's what it is. It was so funny.
I wonder if that's it right there.
Maybe. Let's see. Band commercial.
Fucking, this was the game where they found the like jiggling mechanic for boobs and shit.
I think this might be it.
This looks like it would probably be it. Like, look at them all. What the fuck?
Holy shit, eh?
I remember this shit came out and it was just like the talk of the town, just like, hey, how can we get people to pay attention to our video game? Because these are all characters from the actual
right?
Oh man,
how funny is that?
Those are all characters from an actual fighting game, and then they had like this crazy boob jiggling mechanic that they put into the game, and then after that game, coincidentally, the volleyball game came out like 6 months later.
Was it for like fucking Mortal Kombat or some shit?
And fucking Dreamcast. I remember seeing that shit for Dreamcast. I still have my Dreamcast.
That was a flop, wasn't it?
It was because of the timing. It came out like basically because I was all about Dreamcast. I still have it. Fucking, it came out.
I only knew one person that had it,
and they were basically like trying to hype their system up. It launched about 6 months before PlayStation 1 came out. So basically, when their system had just came out and was fresh, all the new hype commercials were coming out about the new PlayStation system. And then it was just like, PlayStation has the advertising money. You can't fuck with their advertising. Like, they'll literally like even like say fuck you in their advertising. Like they did with the Crash Bandicoot fucking thing when he went out in front of fucking Mario or Nintendo headquarters with the bullhorn. Do you remember that one? It was the Crash Bandicoot like mascot. He goes out in front of the Nintendo with a bullhorn, and he's like, "Look at you guys with your little Italian character running around, fucking." And it was basically like,
this is a commercial.
Yeah, and it was like kind of brash. Like their marketing tactics were to just basically like
just call them out.
Yeah, make fun of Bandicoot.
That was a really sick game though, Crash Bandicoot. Did you ever play those? I love
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. Those were good.
There you go. The commercial at Nintendo.
And whoa. Oh, he even has his fucking car, the rusty car.
Pack up your stuff.
Check it out. What do you think about that?
What do you think about that? Check it out.
3D, lush organic environments.
So this is like their advertising tactics. We're just like, your days are numbered, Mario.
Is that Italian?
No, Bandicoot is an Australian name.
Is that
Yeah.
Italian?
And so they had a whole series of commercials like that with that guy in that outfit, basically just making fun
I
of
kind of
Nintendo
remember
and
that.
shit.
But man, yeah, the shitty quality of that, like in that time.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember that Barks commercial with
You mean Bark says bite?
Yeah,
Johnny.
Johnny. You know?
Oh hey man.
Do you know who it is? Do you remember who that guy is?
Who the fuck was it? Because I remember that fucking voice.
It's fucking Nick Swartzen,
Was it really?
dude.
No.
I just
shit.
looked it up a little while ago because I was like, yo, I remember that commercial, and then I was like, holy fuck, it's Nick Swartzen, yeah. Because that was such a memorable commercial. I remember seeing that shit like 10 times a day, dude. It was on so much for a while. Yeah, dude, check it out.
There it is. What the fuck? I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's gotta be that one.
Yeah, it's that. Check it.
Fight! What do you mean Bart has fight?
Look at how young he is.
What do you mean Bart has fight? Johnny? What do you mean Bart has fight? Oh hey man! What do you mean Bart has fight? Here, try
What
some
the
of this.
fuck? Wow.
Right?
Ouch! I
Ouch.
haven't seen him that excited since he got his heels. Ouch!
I haven't seen him that excited since he got his heels.
Ouch.
Man,
Dude.
that's classic.
Lainey Lockwood? What a fucking news reporter name. Dude, Barks though.
When that shit first came out,
So good.
because I'm
Best
like
root
root beer.
beer.
Yeah, root beer is like my soda.
That's my
If I had to
shit.
go for a soda, if I
Yeah,
can,
a sody?
a sody pap, that's definitely my soda of
Uncle
choice.
Mo. Yeah, for sure. And Barks is one of the best. Like for a mainstream one, Barks is the best.
I think fucking I'm still yeah, it was either that, depending on how I would feel, I'd either go for that or a fucking mug.
Mug, yeah, but Mug's too sweet compared to Barks.
Yeah,
Barks is like, dude, and Barks in the bottle versus Barks in the can. It has to be the can because it actually tastes different.
Yeah.
Tastes better in the can. It's got to be cold, right? And it's like you crack that can and you take the first couple sips and then your fucking eyes start to water, you know,
You're just like,
because
"Ah."
it's like bubbling.
It's like
It's just like it's so
overcarbonated.
intense,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Fuck,
So
that's
funny.
as
But you
shit.
gotta have the two. You gotta have the one can to just crush and then the second can to enjoy.
just fucking like 2 days worth of sugar at once. Fuck, that's the one thing that started blowing my mind when I started paying attention to. It's like you're like, as the grown man, the average man's supposed to take in like about 35 grams of sugar a day, maybe 40. It's around there. And then fucking can of Coke's like 35, 38. Like fucking granola bars are like 30 grams. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm super conscious about
mom's
that.
like sending you to like school and get like or when you're going to school, like your lunch, and it's a couple granola bars, a juice box, some other thing, and you're just like, fucking
Sugar, right? Well, you have fucking your PB&J.
Yeah.
You got sugar in your jam, sugar in
Craft
your peanut butter.
that's just like loaded up with sugar.
yeah, because you're not buying natural.
Fuck that shit.
And then in your fucking shitty bread,
Yep.
already has sugar in it, and
But
yet,
we
and
never
then
did
your
the white
body's
bread.
gonna convert those carbs into sugar. And then you got your fucking gushers, you got your granola bars, you got your
fucking-
pudding, you got all your little fucking snacks that are portioned out. Everything you're eating and juice box. It's fucking sugar, dude.
Fuck, there was one thing I was gonna fucking look up. The fucking one more thing I wanted to show you. I can't fucking remember what it was though.
Was it about food?
No. It was just like some stupid clip. It's not important. I was just fucking.
What is
I
it?
don't remember.
Ouch.
Fuck, but yeah, man, fucking fuck, we're almost at 2 hours already.
Shugs.
Fucking well, yeah, I guess why don't we fucking
Okay, yeah.
call her for today, and we'll see everybody on fucking Wednesday this week.
Yeah.
Wednesday. our
People
illustrious.
people are gonna be like, Man, if you fucking say Australia or Wednesday one more time.
Or fucking Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a Wednesday Australian
maybe
Elon
that's-
Musk podcast.
Yeah.
That was like that double header when I'm like, yo, you hear about this thing with Elon Musk down in Australia? You're just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. And you're like, I totally didn't even mean it.
I didn't even mean it.
The shameless plug.
Fuck.
Alright.
We'll
That's
aim for
good,
our
that's
illustrious Wednesday podcast. We'll keep you posted if we do. And thanks to everybody for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Have a good week, fam.